Here are 3 considerations about how you should look at what may happen to advertising costs going into a recession or during a recession. Consideration number 1 is your CPMs, or your what is commonly referred to as your cost per 1,000 views. There are multiple things that dictate what your CPMs may be. In the simplest way, one consideration is the supply side, the demand side. So demand side is how many people you can possibly advertise to. For example, for a lot of brands, their core demographics in the summer months are less commonly available on social media, as they are spending more time outside and less time on devices in certain cases. That would be an example of costs rising due to a drop in the supply of eyeballs. On the other side of it, the demand side, sometimes costs go up because there is more advertiser demand on the platforms. The reason why CPMs may change and going into a recession or during is a lot of businesses may choose to lower their advertising costs as they try and cut costs, therefore shrinking the amount of demand and allowing for potentially lower advertising costs for the brands that are able to or interested in continuing to maintain or scale their spend, hence presenting an opportunity. The second consideration with ad costs going into or during a recession is consumer spending. So a lot of the time when businesses are pulling back their ad spend, this is also because they are expecting to or experiencing a drop off in consumer spending, which would generally result in either less clicks perhaps or a lower conversion rate. So then you have to think, which outweighs the other? The benefit to an advertiser of having lower advertising costs, or the drawback of lower convertibility. Now, during this recording, consumer spending continues to be very strong. Year-over-year growth, certainly not where it was in 2021, but it has not yet kind of tipped in a really bad direction as of June, July 2022. So this is the reason why I say this is because you don't need to have consumer spending weaken while business ad spending does. There's a lot of macroeconomic variables that can come into play, but these are just considerations to kind of plan for and look out for when deciding where the opportunities may lie from a paid acquisition perspective and the cost of advertising. The third and final point about ad costs going into or during a recession is actually what can transpire on the other side. So if there is ever a recession, or if we are in one right now, one of the biggest opportunities is that as businesses pull back spend, on the other side of a recession, naturally some businesses will fail, and therefore the ones that were able to stay healthy, stay strong, on the other side will have less competition on the demand side, going back to what I was saying earlier. Additionally, more often than not, depending on the type of recession, the consumer will often recover before a lot of businesses do and before they start to reinvest into scaling spend aggressively. Therefore, if you can position your business in a really good spot as consumer spending returns, or at least returns to being at a very high year-over-year growth rate, not only can you take advantage of that, but you can take advantage of that with perhaps even lower CPMs on any given ad platform. To wrap things up here, to summarize all 3 points once again, things to look at as it pertains to ad costs going into or during a recession: the cost of advertising. Naturally, that is going to kind of set a rough range of what may be possible for different offers you have that you are advertising. Second is consumer spending, understanding that it's not just the advertising cost that could change. It also what could also change are consumer spending habits. And lastly is also having a strong understanding of the opportunities that present itself during and on the other side of recessionary times.